Hey guys, this is the Pyrosaniac, and today I'm going to briefly run over some helpful hotkeys as well as some potentially useful rebinds in Planetside 2. Hopefully this video will help provide you with some conveniences, and in some circumstances even improve your game. For ease of use, I've decided to put all the rebinds together in one section at the end of the video. First off is the HUD. The HUD is extremely vital to the game. As intended, it contains everything you need to know in the heat of battle. For reference, everything I cover in this section will have to do with what's on your screen after you spawn. Let's start with the chat menu. There are actually 4 different ways to open the chat. The simplest way is to press enter, which will select the text box for you to type. Note that /say will not be as visible as /yell, so delete /say in chat and type in /y or /yell. This can also be done quicker by pressing / to open chat and then pressing Y. If you want to whisper to someone, type /t or /tell and then their name. The third way to open chat is to press backspace, which will automatically input the reply command, provided someone has already whispered to you. If not, backspace will do nothing. The final way to open the chat is to press the left Alt key. This releases your mouse pointer in order to allow you to interact with your HUD. In the chat box, you can click on the text box to accomplish the same thing as pressing enter, resize the chat box, manipulate text size, scroll through the text, and sift through chat channels. Another useful thing you can do is right or left click on someone's name in chat. This will open a drop menu that will allow you to do a host of useful things, such as whisper to them, add as a friend, invite to a squad or platoon, and ignore or report them. This eliminates the need to either type their name in chat, or navigate through the UI menus. Note that this drop menu will not appear for whatever reason when you're looking at the death screen. You'll have to respawn in order to use it again. While your mouse is released, you should note that you can also left-click on your minimap to bring up a drop menu allowing you to place waypoints. This is useful when you need to quickly change your squad's objectives. Once you're done with the mouse pointer, press left alt again to hide it. If you want some additional utility out of left alt, you can press left alt in conjunction with F to show your FPS. Note that the mouse will still be toggled when you do this, so you'll have to press left alt again to hide the mouse. There are a couple hotkeys you should know when you're using the minimap. The first is H. What this does is make your minimap have 4 times the surface area. This will give you a much larger overview of your surroundings at the cost of less visible space in the lower left corner of your screen. Pressing H again will minimize the minimap once more. Another way to manipulate your minimap's visibility is to press the 2 bracket buttons. Left bracket will zoom out your minimap, while right bracket will zoom in your minimap. This is something I find to be extremely invaluable. In general, you want your minimap to be more zoomed in as an infantry player, and zoomed out more when you're piloting a vehicle. If you press tab, you'll open up the score screen. This gives you all kinds of useful information such as your location, your session stats, boosts, benefits, battle rank, cert points, amount of ribbon bonuses left, and your connection quality. Finally, we have what I like to call the cinematic hotkeys. All of them require you to press Ctrl and then another key. To toggle the indicators on your HUD, simply press Ctrl and I, although the indicators will still be on your minimap. Ctrl and F10 will completely remove your HUD, and Ctrl and F11 will hide your weapon as well. The only real use of these is to make cinematic content, or if you feel the indicators are too cluttered. Next up are the social hotkeys. Now, I've already covered the text chat, so I'll mainly focus on voice chat. First and foremost, holding down Q whilst looking at a friendly will open up what the community has imaginatively dubbed the Q menu. From here, you can do all you normally do when you click on someone's name in chat. Additionally, you can activate a voice callout if either of you are an NG medic or in a vehicle. If you want to activate a different callout or you don't want to use the Q menu, simply press V and then the appropriate callout for your situation. As for voice chat commands, you're probably going to want a keypad. On the keypad, 1 will give you platoon voice chat, 4 is proximity voice chat, 7 is squad leader voice chat, you'll need the command chat cert for that, and 9 is outfit voice chat. Squad chat is Z on your keyboard. When someone else is speaking, you can use the minus sign to make them quieter, the plus sign to make them louder, or the keypad's enter to mute them altogether. Next we have the menu. By default, this can be activated by pressing escape, which will open you to the last place you're looking at in the menu. However, if you want to get to a specific section of the menu quickly, there are some useful hotkeys you should know. M will open up your map, O will open your outfit screen, and P will open your squad management. Any other part of the menu can be accessed by pressing the buttons at the bottom of the screen. Next up we have the infantry hotkeys. Although it's in the in-game tutorial, I found a lot of newer players tend to forget about the spawning key, which is Q by default. When looking at an enemy, press Q, which will place a triangle above their head for all your allies within a certain distance to see. Additionally, after being spotted, you'll be able to see which direction the person you just spotted is looking at on the minimap, which will allow you to more easily sneak up behind them. When interacting with a terminal, note that holding down E will cause you to quick resupply, which will save you a few seconds. Pressing C will allow you to toggle crouch, which is useful when you found a defensible location, or you're sniping and want to hold your breath without having to hold down the crouch button as well. Speaking of which, when you have an overlay scope, pressing left shift will allow you to hold your breath, thus stabilizing your aim. On non-overlay scopes, this is not necessary as they have no sway. Pressing X will allow you to toggle your weapon's attachment. Note that if you have a laser sight, the benefit will still be ongoing even if you disable the laser. There's no reason to have a laser sight on unless you're throwing a disco party, as it only makes you more visible. Say you're using the Gauss Compact S and you want to shoot more accurately at someone who is further away from you. Pressing B will allow you to shift from full auto fire to burst fire and even semi-auto fire. Note that this is not the case on all weapons, as not all weapons can change their firing modes. Also, note that pressing G will throw your grenade. Additionally, pressing T or the middle mouse button will cause you to pull out your knife, which is useful for finishing off enemies. You can change your weapon using the scroll wheel or pressing the number keys, although pressing the number keys will change your weapon quicker than scrolling the mouse wheel. Additionally, if you have an underbarrel attachment, this can be activated by pressing the weapon's marker on the keyboard after the weapon is selected. Finally, we have vehicles. The most useful hotkey in any vehicle is T, which will activate the third-person camera. This can be used to give you a wider field of vision, as well as effectively peek around corners and behind walls. Generally, while piloting, you want to be in third-person view and then switch back to first-person to aim, although aiming in third-person is possible with practice. The next most important hotkeys are the function keys. Pressing a function key will move you to its corresponding seat in a vehicle. For example, pressing F2 will bring you to seat 2, which is the rumble seat in a flash or the secondary gun in the main battle tank. Your afterburner is activated with shift, and your ability can be activated with either F or X. If you have the AMS Cert for the Sundy, pressing B will cause you to deploy. Additionally, pressing the equal sign will activate the cruise control. Cruise control also works for infantry, although it's called auto run. Note that cruise control will cancel if you open up the menu. When piloting an aircraft, the same hotkeys apply for a ground vehicle, except that pressing space will cause you to ascend and pressing control will allow you to descend. Additionally, pressing your mouse's scroll wheel down will allow you to Freelook inside of your cockpit, which will allow you to spot enemies easier. If you press page down, you'll open a screen which will allow you to change your vehicle's permissions to decide who can enter it. Before, this could also be used to deconstruct your vehicle. The only reason I say this is because I really hope SOE reintroduces the feature with the upcoming resource revamp. In terms of cosmetics, headlights and lighting effects can be toggled with either the semicolon or G. If you have purchased a horn, it can be activated with J. Now that I have all of the default hotkeys out of the way, let's go into rebinds. Note that to rebind your hotkeys, you'll have to press escape to open up your menu, then click on settings, then key bindings. The first rebind I suggest is actually not one that I personally use. A lot of people say you should rebind your mouse scroll up and mouse scroll down to zoom in and out of your minimap. Now, this is just as much personal preference as well as a habit from playing a bunch of FPSs on the PC over the years, but I prefer to use the scroll wheel for when I'm selecting different weapons. However, if you use the number keys instead of the scroll wheel for selecting weapons, then definitely rebind the minimap zoom to the scroll wheel, as you will be using it a lot. Next, if you happen to have a mouse button 6 or 7 on your mouse, I recommend rebinding the 6 and 7 keys to the proximity and squad voice chat. Note that you will have to do this inside of your mouse software, not in-game. Don't ask me why, that's just the way they make mouses. This will allow you to quickly communicate in-game while still maintaining your combat effectiveness. The reason I don't say 4 and 5 is because of 4 and 5's utility when flying aircraft. Bind pitch up to mouse 4 and pitch down to mouse 5. This will allow you to turn much faster on your target and still allow you to aim precisely when you release the buttons. At first you may not use them a lot, but after a while you wonder how you ever flew without them. On the topic of aircraft, you should also bind the analog throttle key, commonly known as the air brake, to G. What this button does is completely kill your momentum in the air, allowing you to stop and turn your target or go to the reverse maneuver faster. Finally, I highly recommend rebinding the exit vehicle buttons on your aircraft, but I found the consequences of not rebinding it to be much less severe. There's a very good reason for this rebind. Imagine, you're flying your ESF high in the sky. Suddenly, you spot an enemy aircraft. You move into fire, but he quickly maneuvers out of your field of vision. Wanting to have a full clip when you face him, you press R to reload. But wait, your finger didn't extend enough and you accidentally pushed E. Now you've been ejected from your comfortable seat into the cold air, plummeting to a shameful death below. Don't let that happen to you. Rebind your exit key to something that is far away from a key you'll normally hit. I personally use the right Alt key, as there's no way I'll accidentally hit it in a dogfight. Some people recommend the tilde key, but you could accidentally hit it when you try to switch to your primary weapon. Anything that you won't accidentally press in a dogfight will work. That about wraps things up. If there are any important hotkeys that I missed, or there's a rebind that you use a lot that I don't know about, please leave it in the comments below. If there are any, I'll put a list of them in the description. If you have any questions, suggestions, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.